Yo, what's up, everybody? We're back with another JavaScript jam.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm really excited for today. My name is Scott Stanley. I'm a technical community manager here at Edgio and a co-host of this here podcast. Anthony, what's up? What do you do, man?
Hello, my name is Anthony Campolo. I'm a developer advocate at Edgio, and I'm very excited because we got Steve here with us today. What's up, Steve?
Hey guys, excited to be here.
Awesome, man. Where you
Yeah, why don't you
coming from?
introduce yourself.
All right, yeah. So I started Val Town about a year ago, and it's a JavaScript platform that runs JavaScript on the server, and it's like a social platform that lets you make functions and deploy them and share them and schedule them very easily. That's the dream, at least.
Okay, because I remember you told when you first pitched this to me, you're like, it's like GitHub Gists and meets AWS or something like that.
Yeah.
And when you gave that pitch, it sounds more like I would say it's like Netlify Twitter.
Yes, yeah. Twitter's one of our a big inspiration. Like as easy as it is to tweet, it should be that easy to code. You just pop open a text box on a web page, you type in your code, you hit run, and now it's like it lives somewhere. You can publish it, you can share a URL to someone, the code runs, someone else can run it via API, all of those. So in that ways, it's kind of like GitHub Gists meets AWS Lambda.
Yeah, that's kind of what confused me. I think because I don't really think of Gists as like a social thing. Like it is in the sense that like you can share it to people. It's a link, people can comment on it. But I think of it, at least the way I use it, is more like a centralized depository for like my notes and like notes that I want to be public or private. And so yeah, no, it's the pitch still makes sense. Yeah, it's just like because like a thing where code is and like a social thing, those are like both like two like the most generalized possible applications you can build. So it's like it's a very heady pitch to give.
Totally, yeah. And in some ways, it's like a bit like a npm or like a package system, because in the way that it's social right now is that we make it as easy to import someone else's code as tagging them on Twitter. So like at stevekrouse.foo will give you like the value of foo that I've defined, and at anthony.foo would be whatever variable name foo that you made. So that's like you can't really do that in GitHub or anywhere. I guess npm does have like that kind of ability, but it's not quite as easy to publish something and consume something as we make it.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah, we'll definitely want to get into code pretty soon, just because I think this is one that makes a lot more sense when you actually kind of see it. Yeah. But let's get some background and like kind of find out who you are and how you got here.
Sure. Yeah. So I guess my background is in programming education, computer science education, and programming languages and developer tools. So not to go too far into my background, but it all kind of started in middle school for me. I went to this after-school program that taught kids to code, and it really blew my mind. They did such a great job. And then in college, I found the work of Brett Victor, which led me to Seymour Papert. And it turns out that teaching kids to code is this like long historied effort to actually make kids like mathematical and computational thinkers. And yeah, it was great. It worked in me. Like I got like better at math from learning to code. And so ever since then, I've been excited about building programming environments and languages for kids and just better dev tools for everybody in general.
I'm really glad you mentioned Brett Victor. This is going to be very good continuity from our last episode. We had Aiden from Millions on, and I was telling him who Brett Victor was. I was like, you need to see this dude's videos. They're going to change your life.
Yeah, they certainly changed mine. Yeah, Brett's great. I spent a couple of years, I don't know if you guys saw, I had my own podcast called The Future of Coding. For like a couple of years, I was almost like jokingly, I refer to myself as a professional Brett Victor fanboy for like 2.5 years, where I just like read his papers and his essays and things that he referred to, kind of climbed up his intellectual lineage tree. It was a great time. It was a great time.
Yeah, it looks like you eventually got him on the show. You must have been so hyped.
Oh, no. I didn't.
Or is that...
I got someone.
So these aren't people you. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I'm not sure what you're looking at. I did interview people who worked at Dynamic Land on the show. Two different people.
Okay, because I see one that says Magic Inc. by Brett Victor, but that's just about Brett Victor. That's not an interview with Brett Victor.
Yeah, maybe we're linking. I'm linking to it somewhere. Or I think I know what you're talking about. So I left the Future of Coding a couple of years ago. Here, let me look. So I left the Future of Coding a couple of years ago. The last interview that I did was 43, and then Ivan did a dozen episodes, and then now Ivan and Jimmy Miller are doing interviews. They're not doing interviews anymore. They're reading old papers that they find really meaningful.
That makes sense.
And then they're like talking about them on the show. And so Magic Inc. by Brett Victor was one of the episodes. So that it is an interesting clickbaity situation. I don't think they mean it to be, but that's how.
Yeah, I see. I understand now, and I see there's like JCR, Licklider, and Brian and Doug Engelbart are on here. Like they're dead, obviously. So
back from the past.
Yeah, they connected up like a text-to speech to ChatGPT-4 to talk to JCR Licklider on a podcast.
Dude, okay, so for
I
real,
they might have had a flux capacitor.
That's going to be a real thing, okay? Because Tyler Cowen did a mock interview with Jonathan Swift, and it was really great. Like, it was actually interesting. I listened to the entire thing, and they had someone like read Jonathan Swift's voice. And like for that, you can't get like data. But if you want to do that for someone who was like alive and there's a lot of video for them, like it's like almost feasible with the tech we have today.
Yeah. It's the future, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, there's a guy that created. So, have you heard, I don't know how much YouTube you watch, but there's a guy. His name is Chalma, and he's from New York actually, and he speaks like I don't know any language you could possibly imagine in the world, and he can learn it very quickly within like a couple of weeks. He's like having conversations with people. Anyway, super smart guy, and he used to be a programmer actually, but now he's a YouTuber full time. Like gets tens of millions of views per video kind of thing. He actually I was actually on his email list, and so he just launched a AI language learning software.
What's it called?
I'll have to look it up. It's in beta right now. There's only 100. There's only 100 people on it right now. It's only in beta. There was only the first 100 people to sign up got on it.
Okay.
But no, this one has him on it, like as an AI model.
Oh, like
because he has so much content.
Like a trainer.
So he's the coach. AI. Yeah,
that's cool.
It's super dope.
Well, yeah, and that's easy because if you're putting something within like a lesson format and it's like it's already kind of gamified, and then you're basically just putting like clips of voices that go with the gamified thing. So it's like you're making yourself kind of like an NPC.
No, it's like a chat. It's back and forth, and it'll like you'll talk to it, and it'll hear you, and it'll correct you on how you say certain things and all kinds of stuff. It's amazing.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's all within the bounds of like a set thing, which is teaching you language.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think it's still amazing, but yeah.
No, it is. Yeah, no, it's totally. Yeah, it's still like just a free flowing conversation with like question answering, but it sounds like it's pretty close.
It's close. Yeah.
Because so can you have like a conversation, like you have a conversation with him in another language and then he just responds to whatever you're saying,
and he can respond in English or Spanish. Like if you're doing, because right now they're only doing Spanish, like that's the main language they're doing.
Cool.
But yeah, and they're going to be adding another language here soon probably, but yeah, there's 100 people in it right now, and then they'll open it up to the public here in like a few months probably. So
nice.
Yeah.
Did you have any Steve, did you have any standout guests back when you were hosting that like you're like, man, I really liked interviewing this person about this topic?
Oh boy. That is here, let me look back. It's funny. I have so many. I'm looking. One of my last interviews with Lane from Coda was like surprisingly good. He's like not a programmer, but he really like nailed the thing that I care most about, like blurring the line between users and programmers, or like democratizing the power of programming to more people, bringing making programming more user friendly. That was one of my favorites. I don't know. It's been a while. It's I recorded them in 2018, 2017. So it's been a while since I thought about.
Totally. It was like you had Pete Hunt on how React.js was created. That would have been my favorite.
Yeah. I think that I don't know if it's the only. Well, I guess now there's the documentary, but there's like parts of the React story that Pete said on my podcast. That was like the first place that they were like publicly said about React. I forget what details, but like people were listening to it like, what? How did you scoop these React details?
And this is one of the things that I love so much about podcasts and good podcasts, and how if you just find the right person on the right topic, you can find things that's like you have captured like oral history in a way that it's like may have never been said or recorded anywhere else. And like, especially if you have people who don't do podcasts very often.
Yeah. Because it's not Pete. A secret, but like Pete's not going to write a blog post about like a random, story about like who talked to who. Like, I think like he was trying to get David, like, I don't know if you guys know about how like David Nolan's post about React and ClojureScript was like a big moment for React. That's like where I first heard about React.
Yeah, I listened to a podcast. Like one of Dave Nolan's really old podcasts, like 2014, about React ones.
Yeah, and so like Pete told like extra details, I think in my podcast, if I'm remembering right, about like how he and David, were collaborating before that post. So I didn't realize there was all this backstory.
Awesome, cool. So what was like the kind of inciting incident moment for Val Town? Like, when did you first get the idea for it? Like, first create the first prototype, that kind of thing?
Yeah, so I've made a lot of, so in my period of time when I was like a Brett Victor fanboy, I was doing a lot, like the main thing I was doing during that time was research into making prototypes that would eventually become some sort of project, whether it be an open source project or a company. I guess it became a company. So anyways, I made a lot of prototypes in this space, and I reviewed a lot of tools in this space. I have this thing, the whole code catalog. That was a future of coding project where I reviewed things like Glitch and Replit. What else is in this space? Zapier's, I think, is pretty similar. Anyways, so I've been like percolating on these ideas for a while, but really the inciting incident, as you called it, was about a year ago. I had just wrapped up another DevTools project that was a WebAssembly front-end framework. You guys probably might find that interesting. It was a Rust to compile to WASM. It's not maintained anymore. My friend JP started it, and he recruited me to help him. You can still go to zaplib.com, but it's kind of doesn't really make sense anymore. We wrote a postmortem about why it didn't work. We were going to start as a company. We raised some money. It wasn't faster enough than JavaScript enough for the time. So if you're listening to this podcast and you like JavaScript and you're a JavaScript developer, the good news is JavaScript is pretty freaking fast, and you don't need to learn Rust to make it faster.
But what about PHP?
I don't think he's PHP for speed.
That's the thing nowadays, I swear.
But we were talking with Aiden how he was originally, when he was creating Million, he was trying to figure out how to do some sort of like WebAssembly thing that was going to like improve performance. And he was like, actually, like, you can't really do that if you're comparing it to vanilla JavaScript. Like, it's not going to be faster because there's like a level of indirection there.
Yeah. JavaScript is pretty freaking fast, and then anywhere JavaScript's not fast, that you want some like native binding to make faster, the web often has it. Like if you want like some sort of encoding thing, like the web native APIs, it has good stuff in it. So anyways, that project was winding down, and then I had become friends with this legendary, well, at least to me, a lot of my friends like this investor, Dan Levine at Excel. He was one of the early investors in a lot of companies that you may have heard of, Sentry and Vercel and Mux and readme.com.
Probably good ones.
Yeah. Scale.ai. And he and I had become friends over the past couple of months. He just like found me for my blogging and prototypes, my podcast. And I was thinking about what to do next, and he was really pushing me to work on basically Val Town. He was like, I have an idea for you. Like, I've been working on this idea, or basically he had seen this idea, and he didn't think anyone had like nailed it. He thinks that there's like code pen for the back end. There's so many metaphors. I've already given a bunch about what Val Town is. Twitter for programming, but he just thought there was this hole for a really easy to use server-side programming platform, where, like, for him, the vision was that the code and the runtime would be shipped together, and they would live at a URL, and they'd be the social thing. And so, like, whenever you have some code, like, basically the thing, one of the ways he described it was, isn't it sad that there's dead code on the internet? Like, there's dead code on Stack Overflow, there's dead code in documentation pages, and like there is living code in that you can like link out to like JS Fiddle or something that's only for client-side code. Wouldn't it be awesome if there was this like web primitive where you can embed some code that would run on a server, and it would be portable? You can embed it in websites, you could link out to it, you could like hand it to someone and be like, like, this doesn't work, help me debug it, or this definitely does work, just like literally hit run or hit fork, and like the code and the runtime, like everything, like it'll work in your account, it's because it's already, because it kind of comes in this runtime-y thing. So that was so the instigating incident for Val Town was this pitch from a VC. It was kind of a reverse of how these things normally go, that I thought was quite compelling.
Very cool. Yeah, I love to get into like some code and some demos. We can kind of get a sense of what this looks like, what it's like to work with. Because the pitch to me makes a lot of sense. It's like we got code, we want to share it, we want to collaborate around it. There's lots of tools to do that, but it's usually you're either like it's like a toy demo kind of environment. It's not really like that much of like a work environment, or it's just like a really good work environment, but it's just for you. It's not necessarily a collaborative thing. So there's like a lot of things I imagine around this space have a lot of different sort of trade-offs. So yeah, I'd love to see kind of like what it's like to work with this.
Yeah, totally. Great points. And then there definitely are a lot of ways in which we're trying to optimize for like the personal hobbyist use case for now, and like grow towards more professional use, kind of like Vercel did and maybe GitHub did in certain ways. But anyways, enough about that. Why don't I share my
last
screen?
question, actually. How many people are working on this?
It's 4 of us.
Okay,
3 in New York and 1 in Seattle. And
awesome.
yeah. All right, so I hit the present button, share screen. Should I share my whole screen or just a window?
Whatever your preference.
Yeah, it's up to you. If you're worried about leaking things, you can just share the one thing. If you're going to be hopping around between different programs and stuff, then you share the whole thing.
Yeah, okay. I guess I might as well do the whole screen. Cool. All right, for now, I'll just make it full screen. Is that right? That looks good. Cool. All right. Yeah. So this is
just increase the font a little bit.
Okay.
One more. Yep. Perfect.
Okay. Great.
Cool.
Yeah. So this is the homepage. If you're logged out, kind of, I don't know. We'll go through these things, but you can schedule functions, email yourself, create APIs, that kind of thing, and they're like nascent social network kind of features. You could see what's trending, you could see what's new, that kind of thing. All right.
Okay. I find that this is kind of funny because like GitHub could have built this themselves, but they didn't, because they have Gists and they are a social network. Technically, they're just a really bad social network, like the worst social network ever.
Totally. I was talking to, I don't know if he'd want me to say who, but anyways, I was talking to someone who used to be high up at GitHub who said that they had this vision, like they were going to make Gists into runnable things, and like it's all, they were like laying the groundwork for it, but then the acquisition happened and they moved on to different things, but they still could do it. They still could do it, and that would be an interesting battle for us to fight. I guess for now, I'm glad that they're not doing it. But you do log in with GitHub to get into Val Town. So I logged in. So here are my vals. I have all these folders. So this
Terso.
one is, what's that?
I see a Terso in there.
Yeah, I was playing with
guys.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I was playing with Terso. Let's see what's going on here. Oh yeah, I ended up deciding to like I was playing with their database, which is fun. But I needed to like come up with a project, since the project is like vaguely related to like getting out your Twitter data. And so I made this function that uses someone else's service to like turn Twitter IDs into Twitter usernames. And anyways, so here I got a list of all my Twitter usernames. Here's everyone I follow on Twitter. Here's all their IDs.
Oh my god! Okay, this is
Gears are moving.
Python. This is a Python notebook for JavaScript. That's what this is.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
that's what I thought too.
That is literally
Anthony, that is literally exactly what I was thinking when you guys were talking. I was like, "What's that Python thing called?" I can't remember.
Collab. Yeah. There's a bunch of them. Yeah.
Notebook.
Oh wow. Yeah. Okay, this is dope. This is super cool.
Yeah, well, so it's a lot like a Python notebook, but then it's like I can send you this URL, and it's like a web primitive at a URL, like with the data. So here, let me pop open an incognito tab, and so you could still see this even though I'm not logged in, and you can go into this menu, copy the name, and like compute with it. So this is what I was saying. Like you can use someone's values as easy as you tag them on Twitter. So at Steve Krouse, following dot. And then, well, it should like let me do like dot IDs. Is that there's a bug in the type completion, but that should work. Let's see. Is it not IDs? Oh, I'm not parsing it as JSON because I'm nervous that these numbers are like too big to be parsed as JSON numbers. But that's I think I am being silly for worrying about that.
Cool, awesome. Let's like build one of these from scratch.
Okay. Anyways, yeah. Let's build something from scratch. I think that'd be more fun. Okay. So the thing I was thinking we would do is so Val Town makes it, one of the things that we're good at is we make it relatively easy to store small pieces of state. So here I made like an empty folder for us. So I'll do JSJam messages.
You can probably bump up the font just one more.
All right. Let JSJam. We do not. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay. So let JSJam messages is in array, and so in Val Town, and I'll make it public. So now you guys can see it if you wanted to. There's nothing going on there yet. So this is a public thing. You guys could read from this value if you wanted. But only I can write to it, and I can write to it just like I would write to a JavaScript value. So I could do function new JSJam message. But me is a shorthand for my username. They're like kind of
I was gonna ask what the at things are. So the at, is that a val primitive?
Yeah. So this is a Val Town thing, and it's nice, but it's not a web standard thing, obviously. So we probably will move away from this and have like a Val 10 version 2, which doesn't use the at symbol.
Because I was looking at when you were scrolling through your other stuff, I saw some of those, and I'm like, wait, is that a decorator or is this like a DSL?
Yeah, so it like links everything together, so I can like command click this and it'll take me to this, which which is also right here. We like compile it down. It's one of the decisions about Val Town that I think was a fine decision for the time, but I don't know if I regret it, but we are probably moving away from it to something that's more web standard.
Because you want people to be able to just hop in and write code like it's JavaScript enough to worry about other stuff or learning other things. Yeah.
And the other way around, like we want them to be able to copy and paste their Val Town code to Dino or Node and just hit run, and it just runs. We don't want to like lock you into using our proprietary
What if
stuff.
it just extracted that out?
But then you're doing
that's functionality potentially. Yeah.
So the tricky thing will be how do we like keep all the functionality we currently have without this? But anyways, we have it's like probably will take us a number of months, and we'll do it in pieces. And I can talk more about that maybe towards the end once you guys see like all the different things that it can do. Okay, so now that I've made this function, I've made it public. You guys, even without a Val 10 account, can like go ahead and call this function, and it will add to my messages. So you can, the code you would run, I'll just do it for starters, but if you guys want, you can do it. It's like, hi from Steve. Cool. So it ran, and then it created a new version. Like version 0 was the first version, and version 1 is this one that was like set by this function at this time. And here's the new message. Does that follow?
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, you can use, so it's like small pieces of state in like persistent JavaScript values on your namespace. That's kind of one of our marquee features. And then like
and the
I could also do,
doesn't go anywhere. It's just kind of like free floating for when you're running it.
the state is like saved right here in JSJam messages.
Oh, okay.
And so every time,
so you have a database running in the background that's just like saving everything.
So currently, like a val is a val. So this is a val that's just a function, and this is a val that's, you know, just returns undefined. It's some code and returns undefined. This is also a val, and so the only difference was that this val was set from another val.
I'm just curious, like what are you running on the back end to have all this persist?
Vals are stored in a Postgres database. So there is a row in a Postgres database that points to JSJam messages, and then there's another Postgres table that has like all the versions of JSJam messages.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool.
So this is very easy and like relatively quick for folks to pick up. It's not. It's also like not so web standard. So we're probably going to move to some sort of key value store instead of this. This works pretty well for now, but we can keep going. One of the best features we have is console.email. So you can send yourself an email where you send them new message. This is the subject line. This is the message. You don't need it. The subject line is optional. And so now whenever this runs, I'll just get an email in my inbox. I don't really want to send an email. I don't want to like pull my email up because who knows what's in my inbox.
Yeah, sure.
But you guys can trust me that I got an email with the subject line, new message, and the value of the message in as the contents.
Cool.
Yeah, people really love that feature, and it comes in handy a lot. We're in the middle of building like some new ones. Console.sms is taking a while to build because it's like hard to get registered, but we're working on that one. I was like basically the whole day today before this call, I've been working with one of this user on making a Telegram, a way to message yourself on Telegram, which is so easy. The Telegram API is really easy to use, and so he and I were working on this docs for how to set it up. So anyways, back to this demo. I guess I don't know if you guys want to try like calling this val.
Yeah, just like drop it in the chat and we'll take a look at it.
Cool.
And
just like edit it and like hit fork.
So do you have like API integrations, or is there also like Zapier like kind of functionality? So it seems like this also would be really good for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we're really the short answer is we want to be good at those things. We are decent at those things, but at the current moment, we're struggling to figure out like, is it like Zapier where you OAuth in, or is it a little bit lower level where you like copy and paste keys? So
kind of interesting. So actually, when I saw this layout, like how you guys have this set up, it very much reminded me of Pipedream, actually.
Yes, yeah,
which is
that's
exactly
another,
which is Zapier, right? Like Zapier, whatever.
Totally, yeah.
That's funny. I actually interviewed a Pipedream once.
Did you?
I'd never even heard of them.
I love their product. I think it's cool.
Yeah, I agree.
And now they have AI in there to write out code. It's so cool.
Yeah, to make your Pipedream integrations. Yeah. Val Town is like we are trying to compete in the Zapier Pipedream market as well. That's like one of the best uses for Val Town today. is like connecting two APIs. And I can show you some of my examples of that here. Yeah, maybe now's a good time for that. But I was going to show you kind of how we're doing APIs today. Is we have this kind of cheeky list of like all these APIs that like someone's used, and then when you click on it, it just we just do like a search for like who's mentioned it, and then you can like kind of look at examples of people using the Slack API, and you just have to adapt it to yourself. Like we don't have anything at the platform level that helps you. We just, we're just showing you that other people in Val Town have done Slack things. This one we put together that like, we show you, if you save a Slack webhook URL in your secrets, and I'll show you where secrets are. They're just in here, secrets. Then this would work if you forked it. So anyways, it's not quite an OAuth experience. We'll probably move there eventually. But yeah, we're not there yet. I was going to show you some of my like poll jobs that I have running, which are like good examples of like what people use Val Town for. So like,
I was going to ask, that was actually be one of my questions, what kind of stuff people are building.
Yeah, so this one, like, I feel like these ones are classic. Whenever Val Town is mentioned on Hacker News, I'll send myself an email, like a console.email that we were mentioned on Hacker News. I'll also send it to our Discord. So, this is a good example of like Discord isn't built into the Val Town platform, but in user space, I built a way to like message yourself on Discord. All that we need is you need to supply your Discord webhook URL. I need to add a README to this, Val, to explain how to get your Discord webhook URL. It's just a couple clicks, but I do need to put that in there. So like, I don't know, like it's fun to compare this to Zapier or to Pipedream, because in some ways this is a lot harder to understand what's happening here. But in other ways, if you're a programmer, it's kind of cool that it's like all code and it's fully configurable.
Yeah, it seems like you're in this interesting mid-ground right now where this is useful just because of your background, I find people with this kind of background have a hard time avoiding it, is that you build things that are useful for learning and that just like generally help people understand how stuff works and are very easy to use. And then it's a question of like, all right, cool. So then what's like things it can kind of do? Like what's like things that can accomplish for you? And then it's like you kind of take something that is very simple and easy to use and beginner friendly, and then try and figure out how to turn that into like a power tool that can like do like really heavy workflows kind of for you. So there's kind of like a tension there between those two goals.
Totally. Yeah. It's definitely one of the things that we've had a hard time answering a little bit. We recently made this page, I'll zoom out a little bit, like what can I make in Val Town, to like kind of help walk you through like things people have made.
Annoy friends in Blue Sky. That's funny.
Where is that one? Like this one someone just made, and it's hilarious. It uses
Da Vinci. Yeah, it's interesting.
Dude, this is exactly like when I was using Blue Sky. I was just like churning out ChatGPT created content just because I was like, I'm gonna write more stuff for a new.
Write a short story about aliens. All right.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to show you. I don't know I feel like this Val might be not working at the moment, but it dovetails with our earlier conversation. So this is Brett Victor's handle on GitHub, Worry Dream. Yeah, I think there's something weird with the GitHub API. Like I haven't been getting events, maybe just because he hasn't been on GitHub recently. But I was using it to like see it whenever Brett Victor contributes to GitHub. I was getting an alert. Oh yeah, so alerts are like something that Val Town's really good at, because you just hit this schedule button. Here, I'll hit stop. So you hit schedule. So here, schedule, and then it defaults to running every hour. You can have it run every day. You can have it run on a cron schedule, and then it will pass in some parameters of the interval, including the last time the interval ran, in as the first argument to the function you have here. And so then you could just say, has there been any new events since I last saw events? And if so, then email them to me.
Could we try and build out the Hacker News follow one, but for JavaScript Jam's Twitter? So every time we're mentioned on Twitter, it triggers it. That would be useful for us. We don't have that right now. And that's something we can actually use.
Yeah, totally. It's one of my favorite. This is it right here. Unless you wanted to build it from scratch, which
no, I'm saying if you already got the code, it's even better.
And then just plug us in there.
Yeah, just show if you could just do it that way, then like that's even more impressive. So, and I just want this like literally. So let's do it.
Give it to me now.
Yeah. Okay.
It doesn't happen very often, but every now and then, like Bro Nifty will be like, "Hey, this is how actually." So this is funny. This is how this happened right here. Is that you were asking for guests, and Bro Nifty tagged us and said, "Hey, you should go on JavaScript Jam." And all CNAP is nice to have a place where they're actually that's going to go into like we're not going to have Slack anymore, so don't go to Slack. But one day it'll go somewhere where Ishan can see it too.
True.
Nice. Here, let
me. You can just email community-growth.
Yeah, there we go.
JSJam. Okay, so what's the query that we want?
So basically, just like if it's mentioned in the Twitter at all. So if if we're added
JavaScript Jam.
So it's specifically
the Twitter account itself. Yeah, the JavaScript Jam Twitter account. So like if I were to write a tweet right now saying, "Hey, at JavaScript Jam, what's up?"
Right.
That would then trigger. Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Okay, cool. Oh, yeah, well, that's very easy. Yeah, I think handles are very easy.
Good.
Okay, cool. Let's hit run and see what example. Okay, so nothing in the last 6 days, maybe. I can just remove the start time and see. It could be a broken
query. Let me do one right now.
I did something a couple days ago.
I think the query is just broken. Let me see. Twitter search might not work with
the Twitter API has been constantly breaking for everyone.
So that's true too.
Yeah, you paying for the Twitter API right now?
I am. Yeah, it's $100 a month.
Yeah.
That's the most complicated part about.
So you get V2 access.
Yeah. Let me see if it's working at all.
Or you get V1 stuff because
I think it's V2. No, V2? I'm not getting anything. Let's see. Let me try. I have 2 keys because things on Twitter are being weird. Yeah, right now it doesn't. It's possible that just like the whole Twitter API is broken.
Yeah, could we try our podcast RSS feed? Like link something up to that. I'm trying to think of something we could do with JavaScript Jam stuff.
Oh yeah, of course. What do you want to get a notification whenever there's a new entry in your RSS feed? Is that like kind of what you're? I have things like that. Or you want to go the other end? You want to generate?
Scott,
we can generate an RSS feed. We can consume an RSS feed.
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah, trying to think of just like events that could, or like how about this? I
can't believe it's not
Twitter.
Working.
Like something that happens when a new episode is published. Like it automatically creates some sort of So what other social networks are you hooked into aside from Twitter?
It opens up ChatGPT and it creates a summary for us and it does everything.
Yeah, well, when the episode's published, there should already be a summary.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
So trying to think of like once it's published, like the logically would be then shared on Twitter. But like we're trying to get around the Twitter thing right now. So like what other things do we share it on?
Yeah, right.
Nowhere really.
Yeah, I mean, it can.
Hold on, it just worked. I don't know. Oh, you know what? I bet. Yes, I think that's what it is. If you don't put it in quotes, then it assumes it's a handle. So.
Oh right. Got it.
Yeah. Okay, so where was your? There. So I think this might. Let's try that.
What is a handle though? But
no. Okay, that didn't work. Let me put it in quotes. Let's see. Yeah. I guess at some point we could go into the I can pull up in the Twitter API search docs.
Yeah. Oh gosh,
No,
this is all too
I think it's
familiar.
this one.
I've never really gone into the Twitter API before.
Oh, it's a headache.
Yeah.
I was trying to create an app that would track people sharing live, using their live feed feature on here on the API, instead of a REST API, and I was trying to make it listen to a certain post and see how many people like retweeted it and liked it for like a giveaway, and then take those usernames and put them in and automatically run through and pick a random winner. Yeah, which there's already things out there like that, but
okay. I think here, let me try. Where was I? Here. JavaScript Jam. Here, I'll try that. No. I can try a JavaScript Jam URL maybe. No, that's not working. What is going on? This works.
So
what is different?
You're going through the bearer token, and you're not, because like, so what is the query doing in the one that's working right now?
All right. Here, I copy and pasted from the one that's working. Great, still working. Okay. We have.
Can you let's stop right now and let me ask some questions. So, what is happening? So in the query that's working, you have Val Town written 3 times with a bunch of random crap. I have no idea what's happening in this query right now.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll get it back to it working. So, I could start with the first line.
Okay, so it's saying either this or that, and then what's the dash in between?
This is not. This is a not query.
Because there's someone else out there.
There's this like rapper named Val Town.
Right.
And like we get crazy stuff when people talk about him, and we explicitly don't.
Okay, so why don't we just try modifying this to be JavaScript Jam?
That's kind of what I've been doing. Right. Yeah, but I can throw in an or, and then do JavaScript Jam. Let's see. That should still return things.
Shouldn't you change?
Oh, cool! What's up, JavaScript Jam?
Yeah,
that's what I just
got
said.
something.
Yeah.
Okay, amazing. Cool. So now I'm going to delete some things and see if it still works.
See where it breaks.
Yeah. It's crazy that it's taking so much.
Okay, it still worked. Hey, there's me.
Okay. Stopped working.
What the frick?
So what is the Val Town doing again?
Yeah. There's a dot in there.
Yeah. What is this doing?
JavaScript.jam.
Right. I don't know. I guess. I don't know.
See what happens. That's JavaScript.jam.
Yeah, I don't even know. What is that?
No.
It's so weird.
Here, let me remove this and keep that.
Still see if it does it. Yeah.
No, so it doesn't work.
Really?
Oh no! Hold on. Let me remove that.
Yes. Right. There we go.
This is so confusing. Why it needs here? Well, actually, why don't I do JavaScript Jam or JavaScript Jam?
Yeah, let's see.
Sure.
Because you guys might want 2 things anyways.
Who knows?
Okay, that's working. Cool.
Yeah.
So now I can
so weird.
I can put a.
So you have to have the or I guess.
Okay. Yeah, there we go. Awesome.
Well, yeah. Why do you need an or query?
Mm.
Yeah, I don't know. It might be like the way that I'm implementing it, or it could be a bug in the API.
Weird bug going on. Yeah.
Maybe cool, queries require ors. Maybe you can't just do something by itself in the Twitter API. Maybe like that's something else.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Cool.
Whatever. This is working.
Now we're getting the output. Then, is there any sort of way to then take Val Town's output and then pipe that somewhere else?
Yeah. So ultimately, you want a fork of this val that I call Twitter alert. So you want basically this, but this is the query part that we'll just replace with a query for JavaScript Jam, and then if there are no results, we just end the function. Otherwise, I guess here you can ignore this part for now. This is, I think, just like formatting text, formatting URLs.
I'm just gonna email it at the end.
This emails it to you. This sends it to like a Discord place if you want. So
okay, so let's just do the email then. We don't have a Discord set up, but email will be useful. We have a shared one with me, Scott, and Ishan we can send it to.
Okay, yeah. So console.email only emails the author. So you guys would just have to fork this. So the two things about this are hard. Is one, you'd have to, well, forking it's easy. You have to create a Val Town account, step one. Step two, you hit fork and save.
So we would need to sign up with that community email we're talking about.
Yeah,
it's the email from your account.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes, so exactly. I already have a Val Town account, so I could just switch it to that because you can add multiple email addresses, can't you?
Does it only email the main one though?
Yeah, it'll only email the one. Let's see. I don't know. Where is it? Preferences. Let's see. Yeah, you can add an email address and then maybe make it and then possibly you can make it primary. I don't know. This part of the product we're using Clerk for authentication, which has been a little bit troublesome.
Shout out to Clerk.
In some ways. Yeah, it's in some ways it's been great. In other ways, it's been like
at least you didn't have to roll your own, bro.
That's true. Okay,
so you can have so you can have two email addresses. One will be primary and one won't be.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll, I think you should. I think the easiest way to do it is to sign up for Val Town with that second email address, and then
see what happens,
and then use console.email.
Yeah.
But the tricky thing here is that you would have to use you'd have to either sign up for the Twitter API or
use your token
or use my token. And so
that wouldn't work though, because you have, so do you plug your token into the back end of this, or where's it at? Like, where's your,
great question. Yeah. So I have my token here in secrets.
Okay. So that's where it is. Oh, right. You showed us that earlier. Okay. I gotcha.
So, but what I can do just for like the purposes of this here demo, is I can copy and paste this to a new function and call it Twitter JSJam search. And I can take in like I'll just take in start time as a parameter, but everything else I will use on my own. Whatever, this can be the default.
What are the limitations if you're not paying for the Twitter API? I can't remember.
Nothing. You can't. I don't think you can get like almost nothing. I think. I forget. Anyways, so I made this a public function. So now and I like have my secret in it. So you can call. Okay, and we didn't even talk about this really, but every function in Val Town that's public, private ones too. Private ones work via like passing your Val Town API token. But anyways, we'll just do public functions because that's easier, and that's the whole point of this anyways. So we have two kinds of API functions. A run endpoint, which works with any JavaScript value, and then an express endpoint. If you like want a custom HTTP endpoint, you can make a request handler, like take in a request object and a response object and do the express things. But anyways, right now we're doing the run API. And so I can just run this. Whoa, what happened? Why? Okay, no, sorry. I just added a space or something. And so this just ran this function and returned the results of JavaScript searches for you guys. And so you can call this API from Val Town for yourself. And check that every so often. You can pass in the start time, and then if there are results, then you can console.email yourself or send it to Discord or Telegram or wherever else you want to send it to. Hopefully Val Town has like that function. Someone else has already made that function to send it where you want it to go. So what I've done is I've like exposed an API that like pokes a hole and gives you like some sort of small access to my Twitter token.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Wow, sweet. Huh. Cool. Are there other things you want to show before we start wrapping it up?
I guess maybe just a quick thing I'll show is that express endpoint and how you can use it to return HTML. Let's see. I'll go back to my... It's like Val Town isn't really the place that you want to be doing HTML. Kind of. Sometimes it's just like really convenient. So if I want to like...
You can have an endpoint that exposes some HTML and then that gets fed into a web page or something.
Exactly, yeah. HTML. Right. So you have to use an express endpoint for HTML, and then you just do rest.send, and then you can do HTML. And we do have some like helpers to make this easier to do certain Reacty things, HTML. And then like if I wanted to render these like this in there, you know, I was going to map over it and do it as a list, but I don't want to waste the time, so I'll just throw it in there. I'll just JSON.stringify it. I think all right, I'll just put the whole thing in H1 so you can see it is HTML. Save. Oh, no, that's the wrong thing. Where am I? Cool. Those are the messages in HTML. And you can like map over them and make them LI elements. So it's server-side rendering. It looks like React in some ways, but it's really just like using JavaScript template literals. And yeah, I'm like, we're injecting this value on the server. And so you can make like a whole form that like...
Do you think you ever build in integration with stuff like React that you could just write React in a Val?
Yeah, let
me
show
they call a Val an individual one? Are they called anything?
Exactly. Like tweets. Yeah, they're called Vals.
Yeah.
Let's see. I did some React yesterday, and I'm so into it. Okay, so this is a Sparkline. This is a Sparkline that I made using HTM to generate React components, React Server DOM to stringify them, and then this Sparkline library that I found on NPM. And then here, I'm actually keeping track of how many times people are loading my Sparkline library, like how many people are loading this Val itself. And then here, I'm actually generating the SVG and I'm sending it here. So this Val itself is a express endpoint. So this is that Val. And this Val itself is keeping track of how many times you run it. So like every time you run it, this value over here is going to get higher because it's counting how many times it's been run. It's very meta.
There you go. There went up
the page.
Yeah.
Right. And then I'm embedding it here in Markdown. So this is an embedding of its own thing. So you'll see that it's higher here than it was here because we've reloaded the page. So it's so meta. I love it. Okay, so anyways, this is an example of a Reacty thing that we're doing. I also have a vanilla Spark. This is the no, that's the data of it. Yeah, this is the data. This is like where we're keeping track of how many times this page has been loaded. Like how many times today has it been loaded, either 0 or add 1 to what it was before. But I also had like a vanilla JavaScript version of the Sparkline. Here's the vanilla JavaScript version.
Mr. Ferdinandi would like this.
Have a Sparkline. Yeah, you just need like this. Sparklines are so easy to generate in just pure JavaScript. And yeah, that's the example of it. So anyways, that's enough. I'll if anyone is still interested, just signing up. It's free. Watching the intro video, reading the docs. We do have a paid plan for like extra compute and stuff. And then you really, I would recommend joining the Discord. We're quite friendly and active on there. So that is that.
Cool. That's awesome.
Awesome, man. So yeah, this is super cool. I'm very into it. It's a lot of possibilities of kind of what you could do with it. So I imagine part of the challenge is just figuring out like how to make the pitch, how to make the docs easy to use, how to like communicate what you can do with it, and then how you can do it with it.
Totally. Yeah. You've hit the nail on the head. It's like almost too open-ended and trying to eat too much. So yeah, the challenge is narrowing down. While like we want to conserve the broad applicability, but also be good at things, not just be like kind of okay at everything.
Right. Yeah. So what's like kind of the future, like short term, long term? What are you like working on right now? What's like the long term vision? Any of that kind of stuff?
Yeah. Okay. I got 3 things for you. So we really want to push on JS web standards. So like the plan right now is to remove the @ symbol as like a way to import code and instead have standard HTTPS JavaScript imports like at the top. And so you'll type the @ symbol in your code like you currently do in Val Town, or like you would in Notion or anywhere like that, and you hit enter, and we'll throw up an import to the top, and then just the name of the variable down below. And so like basically any link to a val, if you just add .js at the end, it'll be like a raw link to that JavaScript, like raw GitHub user content. Yeah. So then you'll be able to like copy and paste from Val Town to Dino, and it'll just run. Gotcha. Or Node, So that's one thing. Like we want to move entirely to web standards. That's a big challenge. Another thing we're working on is embedded vals working really well. Like it would be awesome if when people are explaining an NPM library, vals are embedded throughout, and you can just like hit run and edit the code, hit run, and that just works.
So it's embedded in Markdown or README or something like that.
Exactly. Or API docs. Like if you're an API company and you're trying to show people how to use your API, it's like even better than an SDK is like running code. Like just hit run, and like grab this into where else your code is going. And then the last thing, like overall, a thing that we really want to see happen is val links, like links to individual vals being on like the front page of Reddit or Hacker News or going viral on Twitter in the way that a GitHub repo does. Because it's kind of magical how GitHub repos are like this web primitive that you can post anywhere, and the README is pretty, and people like GitHub repos. And we would like vals and val links to have that same kind of social behavior, and we're working on it, but it's been challenging so far.
Word. Yeah, no, that's awesome. It's so many opportunities, so many things you can do with it, and it's pretty freaking sweet. So and you're kind of like the sole founder. Do you have like a co-founder who's also working with you on like the vision thing, or is it just like you and a bunch of engineers?
It's me, and my co-founder is Tom McWright. He joined a couple months into the company. He worked at Mapbox and Observable. Observable is also like a JavaScript Python notebook kind of thing, but it's all front end based. But Tom's really great. He is like a big JavaScript personality. People like his opinions on frameworks and JavaScripty things. That's kind of like I was a reader of his blog. That's how I first found out about Tom. And then there's one designer, Rodrigo, and one engineer in Seattle, Andre.
So everybody thought Cliff Notes was dead, but Cliff had a sister, and her name was Val. I don't know. Maybe it's a little too much. But
Is this Cliff Notes? Wait, what was Cliff Notes? You're like,
come on, that's like 1990s when we were.
You'd be like the actual Cliff Notes, like reading short books.
Yeah. It's like a note thing,
Yeah.
Anyway.
Gotcha.
Anyway. Cool. Well, thanks.
Close out for us, Scott.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much, Steve. Greatly appreciate you, man. It's been really cool to see what you guys have been working on and the things in the future. I'm excited to see what all happens with this and how it evolves over time. I'm sure you guys are going to do some amazing, really cool things as you already have. So thank you very much. Thanks, Anthony, for joining me here as well. Yeah, that's it. So thank you all for joining us on JavaScript Jam, and we'll see you in the next one.
Next one.
Peace.